Vale. Buenas noches, Death Battle. Deku versus Asta. Uy, veo muy enfadado. Es más, mucha gente ha dicho que Asta. En los comentarios mucha gente dice que va a ganar Asta. Es Black Clover, o sea, no sabes qué. Vamos a ver qué tanto potencian, ¿vale? Pero según. Un segundo. Según votación, ¿vale? Yo en comentarios he visto más gente que vota por Asta, ¿vale? Pero según votación también, pero la verdad. 11 comentarios, o sea, no hay un cariño, no pongas. Cariño, que estamos hablando, no pongas la cara, por favor, gracias. Un 10% nada más. O sea, hay una muy mísera diferencia de votación. La verdad. Mísera. Y he dicho antes, Deku tiene más poderes, tiene más versatilidad, tiene más poder bruto discutible. Ahora veremos qué tanto será, pero yo creo que Deku tiene todas las papeletas, la verdad, para ganar a Asta. Sinceramente. Aunque también yo dejé de ver Black Clover hace un montón. Y otra cosa que mucha gente no habla, ni Black Clover ni Boku no Hero han acabado. Miedo me da qué tan roto van a poner a los personajes. Porque ahora Black Clover estaba con un nuevo villano que manipula la realidad, creo, o algo así, no sé cuánto, así que, buah. Va a ser un modo Bleach. Y bueno, Deku ya sabemos cómo está en Boku no Hero. Así que bueno, vamos.
¿Uy, perro rabioso?
Sí.
Ah. Entonces ha puesto por él, porque es el único que conozco.
Yo te explico, cariño, yo te explico.
And better help. Deku, My Hero Academia's super student straight out of UA High.
Asta,
Perro
the anti-magical gift
rabioso.
picker from Black Clover.
No sé
Though
quién
you may
chucha
be
eres.
bereft of the same gifts as your peers, there is nothing stopping you from achieving your dreams.
As long as you're a fictional character in a fantasy world. I mean, as long as you've got your friends by your side, you'll pack a hell of a punch. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Izuku Midoriya wanted only one thing from life, to be a beacon of hope just like his idol, the #1 ranked superhero in Japan, All Might.
Too bad he was born.
Solo quería una cosa. Ser el héroe más grande del mundo. Poquito. ¿Verdad, cariño? Solo quiero una cosa. Ser Superman. ¿Por qué el mundo es tan cruel?
Solo quiero eso, es tan fácil de conseguir.
Gente, también solo quiero una cosa. Ser más rico que Elon Musk. No te jodes.
A freak with no powers. You heard right. This is like a reverse X-Men thing where 80% of the population gets red superpowers, or quirks as they're called, while the remaining fifth are stuck as basic bitches, or as his spiky-haired woolly Bakugo called him, Deku.
That's a pun on the Japanese word Dekunobu, meaning good for nothing.
Persevering despite his basic bitchedness, Midoriya got the chance to prove his quirkless heroic mettle against this giant sludge monster, much to the surprise of one particular almighty onlooker.
His body secretly decaying from a horrific injury, All Might needed to find the one who would inherit his all-powerful quirk.
And All Might didn't want just anybody. The hero world was filled with glory seekers in it for fame and money. All Might wanted someone whose body moved on its own to save someone.
He saw exactly that in young Midoriya, and gave him one of the most powerful quirks in the world, One for All.
That was the problem. Even after bulking up from lad to Chad, the recoil from even one punch would shatter all the bones in his arm. So he trained to be able to handle his gift at the superhero school of his dreams, UA High.
And that's when he decided to learn the name used as a cudgel against him for so many years. Turns out, Deku can also be an abbreviation for Dekiru, someone who can do anything.
Exactly the opposite of Dekunobu. One for All allows Deku to release absolutely absurd amounts of strength from different parts of his body, with super moves named after US cities and states.
Fajin, Danger. Es que mucha gente no lo entiende. Yo voy a decir por qué va a ganar Deku. Por el Danger Sensor, ¿vale? Todo lo que tiene Deku es parecido a lo que tiene Asta, ¿vale? Pero el Black Whip, el látigo, le da movilidad extra, ¿vale? Le da una movilidad extrema porque yo que sepa, Asta tiene mucha velocidad también, pero es muy lineal, no tiene versatilidad, puedo equivocarme. Pero el Black Whip de Deku le da versatilidad. El Smoke Green le da invisibilidad, por así decirlo. Y el Danger Sense es el puto Spider sentido. Por lo cual tiene el ultra instinto para así entenderlo. Tiene un momento que te avisa de esto. O sea que Deku tiene demasiadas. A ver.
Deku still can't access all of his power safely though. Using 100% will quickly destroy his body, which is why he distributes strength evenly across his.
Ya no. Bueno, técnicamente sí, pero Deku ya puede usar más del 100% sin hacerse daño justamente en el manga actual. Literal, ya puede usarlo sin eso. Pero técnicamente no es el 100%, sino que combinan Fajin con el One for All.
A technique known as full cowling. This lets him increase his speed and durability as well, making him more all-rounded and shifting focus to his own interpretation of One for All inspired by his pal Ida, shoot style.
Where he pulls out a Glock and blows your brains out. Okay, not really, but in keeping with One for All's rabbit theme, he trades All Might's signature punches for kicks. My version's better. You ever seen Rabbit vs. Gun? I have, and I know how it plays out.
Considering the much higher muscle mass of a human's legs, shoot style allowed Deku to output even more power while giving his arms a break. A break from a break.
And despite being a classic melee build,
Estoy
Deku
hablando del
can
anime
by
más.
punching powerful gusts of air and even precisely aim them with specially designed gloves.
Deku has an encyclopedic knowledge of quirks and is always analyzing their strengths and weaknesses mid-battle, even if he does sound a little weird.
Despite
También.
only barely getting accepted in the first place, Deku
A Deku analiza a todos los villanos.
dependable fighters. Because yeah, somehow these students are constantly getting drafted into literal wars against murderous supervillains.
Sí.
Midoriya's successes in battle against ruthless criminals like Stain, Muscular, and Overhaul came much to his old bully's chagrin. Where Bakugo was a child prodigy, he now found himself overshadowed by his hard-working rival, and the two would use their mutual respect and animosity to motivate each other to
respeto,
get
sí.
stronger.
Classic frenemies. They're only solving their problems by pounding the living tar out of each other.
Luckily for him, Deku soon learned that living tar pounding wasn't the only thing he could do. Turns out, One For All did not originate with All Might. It had been passed down 8 times until it arrived at Deku, with each inheritance also carrying the previous user's natural quirk as well.
Like
Sí.
Black Whip, which lets him manifest crazy long and strong energy tendrils to tie enemies up and swing around the city, or shoot one out of his mouth, just like our girl Fruppy.
And Danger Sense, which
Sí.
gives him a minor reactive precognition.
AKA, he's Spider-Man. Not even to reach the manga
Lo acabo de decir. Spider-Man.
is like the biggest Spidey fan ever.
He can also produce a smoke screen to mask his presence, float in midair, or store kinetic energy over time with Fajin. Oh,
Fallé.
Like that. By storing up enough, he can even match All Might's max power without any recoil to boot. Strong enough to change the weather.
Acaban de reconocerlo. Tiene el 100%.
Create city block-sized tornadoes with a single punch.
and he's even stronger with his newest quirk, Gear Shift, which allows him to increase the speed of an object anytime he touches it. In conjunction with the power of All For
Ah, vale. Y esto es lo más roto. Lo dije en su día. Este quirk está muy roto. Este es el quirk más roto de Deku. Controlar la velocidad. Lo dije en su día. Deku ha ganado. Este quirk está roto. Por lo cual, si toca a Asta, puede hacer que Asta sea más lento o más rápido. Y hasta. Este es el poder por el cual Deku gana a Asta. Aunque, si nos ponemos técnicos, y son diferentes mangas, yo creo que este quirk no funcionaría en Asta por su antimagia. Porque vamos a ser claros, los quirks son la magia de Black Clover. Así que...
For one, he can use this to warp reality itself. Deku can go toe-to-toe with arch-villains like Shigaraki, who's fast enough to react to and catch laser beams with his bare hands.
But nothing could prepare him for All Might's archenemy, the shadowy leader of the League of Villains, All For One.
All Might only ever showed his young pupil kindness and support, but that couldn't change the absolutely crushing pressure Deku felt at every moment.
Even classically trained dickhead Bakugo came to help his teammate out when he needed it. Like when they teamed up to share One For All and punch an island
Es una película.
2,000 miles high.
Just goes to show that even One For All isn't a one.
Eso no cuenta, es la
Deku's true
película.
strength comes from his teamwork between himself and his
No
friends.
es ca...
And with their help, Deku will surely become that beacon of hope he dreamt about as a child.
One hero for all mankind.
A ver, hasta.
This episode is sponsored by Mint Mobile.
His
Me
lonely
comas
system of
los
wireless
rabos.
wireless can only be found at everyone's got it.
Mana is the source of all magic, a supernatural energy found in the air and in living beings, except living beings whose names are Asta.
Not only was the young Asta an orphan abandoned by his mother at a church as a baby, he was
¡Ilegal!
Catchphrase es la frase mítica del personaje. ¡Ah! Personaje de mierda.
¡Es ilegal!
that prevents him from having any mana to speak of. Well, neither do I, and you don't hear me crying about it.
Yes, you do, all of the time. But Asta had a dream. Despite his lack of magic, he and his best friend Yuno promised each other one of them would rise to the throne of the greatest military position in the land, the Wizard King. Wizard King? Really, guys? Sometimes they call it Magic Emperor, but we all know what they mean.
So he dedicated himself to getting swole as all hell. In a world of nerds, he would be its lone jock god, shoving every last wizard into a locker until they crowned him king.
But huge frightening pectorals and a tiny screaming goblin child weren't enough on its own. He needed something powerful enough to shut down his opponent's magic.
He needed the 5-leaf Clover Grimoire.
Essentially a book of spells, a grimoire will choose its user and float beside their wielder at all times.
And Asta was lucky enough to receive the Uno Reverse card of Grimoires. The 5-leaf Clover can harness the power of anti-magic, which will literally nullify the effects of other magic spells. Almost like Wizard Kryptonite. Let the locker
Sí.
stuffing commence. Haha, get nerds.
It wasn't long before Asta was accepted into one of the 9 squads of Clover Kingdom's Magic Knights, the Black Bulls, filled with lazy drunkards, antisocial otakus, and literal sociopaths.
My kind
Es que
of
es muy
people.
simple.
Yep, mostly.
Es como hacemos la antimagia de Asta. Si la antimagia de Asta funciona en Deku, Asta gana de paliza. Si lo hacemos como que la antimagia de Asta fuese el poder de Head, ¿no? Si Deku toca la espada de Asta, es como si le viese Head. Deku pierde paliza. A secas. No es posible. Ya está, o sea, ya está. Es como... Pero claro, es que no es lo mismo un quirk que magia. Ya, claro, todo como quieras verlo.
But much like with Asta, you shouldn't judge a grimoire by its cover. And soon they were all working together and kicking ass like a family should.
Asta harnesses the power of anti-magic by summoning swords imbued with it from the grimoire. Normally, these swords would quickly drain the mana from anyone foolish enough to wield them, but Asta does not have any mana, turning his greatest weakness into a one-of-a-kind strength.
He's got his classic Demon Slayer, an enormous greatsword which cuts through spells with its edge and deflects them with its flat. Or the Demon Dweller, which can also absorb and copy magic, then pass it right back to sender.
I think my personal favorite is the more complex Demon Destroyer, which severs the relationship between a spell's cause and effect, countering the effects of its magic. This could result in anything from healing a village that was inflicted with poison to preventing reincarnation.
Yeah, okay, some of these can get a little heady.
Es muy simple, tenemos la anulación, el full counter y el anulación bestia. No sé qué hacer.
Personally prefer keeping it simple, like using anti-magic telekinesis to surf on your sword through the sky.
It's worth noting that these swords are made specifically for countering magical attacks and sources of mana. The swords will act as though blunted when striking non-magical foes, more akin to giant clubs than actual blades. Not entirely inconsistent with real-life greatswords.
But none of that's even close to as cool as his deadliest sword, the Demon Slasher, a katana as black as the pits of hell and twice as badass.
This one actually does cut like a sword, but it's complicated. It lets Asta actually select what he does and does not want to cut, only affecting his target while leaving anything else unharmed.
Okay, at this point, isn't that just magic?
Magic with a loophole.
And he studied the blade long enough to become a master swordsman to boot.
No, porque no es mana, es ki. Es diferente. Ahí está el problema, ¿vale? Y ahora os voy a decir por qué lo de Deku no funcionaría. Tanto en Black Clover hay dos cosas. Está el maná y el ki. Y son dos cosas completamente diferentes. Por lo cual, los quirks de Deku deberían ser otra cosa diferente. Por lo cual, todos estos plus que tiene Asta no deberían funcionar con Deku. Porque tanto... Como acaban de decir, en Black Clover el maná y el ki no es lo mismo. Asta tiene el poder del ki, que lo aprende de Yamai, que es otro tipo de magia, que él tiene acceso y por eso puede usar cosas como la katana esta de mierda. Así que Asta no debería neutralizar nada de los poderes de Deku. Por lo cual Asta no tiene ninguna ventaja / anulación / su esencia contra Deku. Tal cual. Así que si usan esa gilipollez para que Asta gane a Deku, lo siento, pero no estoy de acuerdo. ¿Tú qué piensas, cariño? ¿O no te ni puto caso?
Nada.
Ya, ¿qué sabe inglés?
Tampoco sé estos dos animes, solo conozco el perro rabioso.
Anti-magic projectiles and even channel anti-magic into his swords to vastly increase their size.
Well, while he may be no
Como
good
antes
with
de
weapons,
él.
he has learned to detect ki, because of course.
The life force
Sí.
existing in all things. Asta can detect hidden opponents and even predict their movements ahead of time, as long as he's fast enough to react.
With such crazy
¿Sabes?
powers,
El ki
Asta
también
can
le hace
threats
tener
like
el poder
the
este.
Midnight Sun, the Devil's Agrid, and the Dark Triad. So many nerds, never enough lockers. Too bad for Asta though, he had one serious inner demon.
Literally, housed within the five-leaf clover grimoire was Liba, a demon exiled from hell for completely lacking magical powers, and who just so happened to get adopted by Asta's mother.
Until he got possessed by a different demon and killed her. Vowing vengeance on all demonkind, Liba manifested anti-magic from his hatred as a way to kick their asses, which gave him and Asta a lot of common ground, despite the whole, mom murder thing.
In fact, the two became true brothers and formed an unstoppable duo. Liba can actually fully merge with Asta for a massive power boost that lasts up to 5 minutes, at the cost of leaving Asta nearly powerless for the next half hour.
Come on, I want it. God, I mean, I'll take it if I get to be strong enough to slice buildings to pieces, obliterate huge chunks of earth, and tear the most powerful demons apart. Give me the goddamn book.
I'm the book boy, okay? Even characters earlier in the series, like Patoli, had magic capable of completely vaporizing the entire Clover Kingdom in a single attack. And demons that Asta has fought since then, like Dante and Lucifero, are leagues stronger.
Hell, screw all these demon forms.
No puedes, lo ves, ya empezamos. No puedes comparar el poder de Asta al poder de un hechizo máximo. Es como decir, Goku con la Genkidama universal cogió la energía del universo en un ataque, por lo cual cuando Vegeta ganó a Goku significa que es más poderoso que Goku en ese estado. ¡No! ¡No lo es! Dios.
Magic powers, Asta's body is so incredibly well trained, he dodged a beam of light while
Oh.
sleeping. As in, he was asleep, and the force of his sneeze pushed his head out of the way of a beam of light. Light speed sneezes, everyone.
And despite his
Sí, claro.
headstrong and irritating personality,
Comedia.
Screaming at the top of his lungs as often as possible.
Asta is an intelligent fighter who has leveraged his skill against far more experienced foes.
But he wouldn't be anywhere without the ragtag band of deviants he calls friends. With them at his side, there's no way he won't climb the ranks to take the Wizard King's throne, especially with Yuno pushing them both to get stronger.
Unlike other classic shonen rivalries, this one isn't tainted by antagonism. They truly want what's best for each other, even if they're competing for the same throne.
Yuno's gonna need all the luck he can get, because even if Asta never gets mana of his own, his true magic is never given up.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Life can
Empieza a
be
pelear.
overwhelming, and many people
Adentro ahora, cariño, empieza a pelear. No tienes que saber nada, solo ve a pelear.
time for a death battle.
Del pelo verde y del pelo blanco.
Rabiosa contra pelo teñido.
sword that big? He's gotta be crazy strong. I'm gonna have to rely on more than just my power to take him down.
Pixelar, me gusta. Es una paja hacer eso.
Hit him really hard. Dale, perro nervioso. Usted puede.
Toma.
Dale, no, perro
Toda la puta
nervioso.
cara.
Give even luck a run for his money.
Toma.
Perro nervioso. Perro nervioso.
Toma.
Aren't swords supposed to be sharp?
Ya. ¿Por qué no me ha cortado? Smoke.
Doesn't slowify a sword's weight at all. Gotta hamper his movements and get that book out of his
No
hands.
funciona la smoke con... Porque te da energía. ¡Venga!
It's my turn.
Pero es verde el látigo.
¿Venom?
Wait, are you not using magic?
¿Lo ves? Vale, bien.
Magic Emperor would I be if I can't beat a guy like this?
No puedo usar, vale, guay. No le ha quitado la magia, los queries, vale, bien. Más látigos. ¡Oh, te quitas espadas, puto! ¿Para qué? ¿Para qué, pendejo? Otra espada. Vamos, por huertos.
Perro nervioso. Vamos. Se puede. No, está haciendo el yo-yo. Está jugando el yo-yo.
Joder, me la quitas.
¡Qué mono!
Joder, sí que aguanta hostia en la puta Asta. Y explotan porque pata.
Troy is, but I've had enough of it. I'm ending this quick.
What?
Hit me with all you've got, because I'm never going down.
Ha pegado un puetazo. Oh. Baby.
Perro nervioso.
No use not going all out anymore.
¡Plus ultra!
Just gotta
Se
hit
viene.
him really hard. You wanted my best?
Ese grito.
¡Déjame!
I did it.
¡Mierda! ¡Mátalo! ¡No! ¡La espada se acaba de decir!
Take that, Detroit.
¡Ay, puta!
Muy
Mata el
buena
perro.
pelea. Muy buena pelea.
¿What? ¿Qué haces tú ahí?
Me ha gustado mucho la pelea. Pero sigo diciendo que tiene...
Está muy bien
A ver,
hecha, me gusta mucho.
a ver cómo dicen por qué ha ganado Asta, porque no me ha gustado el título antes. Pero qué buena pelea.
Poor Deku. He tried his best, but Asta just shoved him into that great big locker in the sky.
Both Deku and Asta were fairly evenly matched melee fighters without any specific abilities to give one an easy edge over the other. Though, to be fair, the variety of quirks Deku inherited from past users of One for All did make him more versatile and unpredictable.
Lo he dicho yo.
Plus, quirks are biological mutations, not connected to some supernatural energy source like
Lo he
mine.
dicho yo
So
también.
Asta's
Papi, me mató el
anti-magic powers
perro.
are basically useless here.
And Deku
Mata
was
el perro.
generally a smarter and more tactical fighter, but against Asta's
El perro
incredible might,
rabioso.
this
¿Me lo
time
mató?
Brawn beat brains.
Let's crunch some numbers.
Ya empezamos.
Deku's greatest feat of
Ya empezamos, por números, ya empezamos. ¿Veis? Sí que literalmente acaban de decir que Deku ganaba en todo. Le acaban de decir, Deku ganaba en todo, pero como esto es una puta Death Battle de maricones, van a poner por números. Y seguramente en alguna parte de un manga de Asta cortó una montaña más fuerte de lo que se ha visto, y esos son los números que ellos hacen para esas basuras de mierda. A secas, es tan simple como eso. Y me da mucha rabia porque literalmente acaban de decir que Deku es mejor. Porque Deku es mejor, a secas. Deku es mejor, Deku gana, te guste o no, Deku gana. Y lo acaban de decir. Pero como ellos tienen que hacer su analítico de mierda con gilipolleces, no le dan la victoria.
Strength was splitting that enormous cloud formation with Bakugo.
By measuring the size of the island and comparing it to the clouds
¿Ves?
above,
Gilipolleces.
we can determine they dispersed over
Y aparte esto no es canon, así que...
kilograms of water.
That's the weight of the Great Pyramid of Giza. 12,000 of them.
And required an energy of nearly 80 teratons of TNT per punch.
Let's compare that to Asta. But Toli's spell was going to be strong enough
Y
to
esto otra vez no es correcto. Es que siguiendo el canon, ¿vale? Lo que acaban de hacer es, han comparado dos puños, por lo cual tienen que dividir la energía hecha por la mitad, porque Bakugo y Deku usan la misma fuerza a la vez, por lo cual, si cogemos la fuerza de Deku debería ser la mitad, porque es la fuerza esa por la mitad, ¿no? Pero aquí otra vez no están comparando eso porque es un puñetazo de Deku, y aquí están diciendo, como Deku, la fuerza comparable de Deku es hasta este personaje por el hechizo que hace, es estúpido. Ya lo he dicho antes, no puedes comparar el poder de Deku por ganar a un enemigo comparando la fuerza del enemigo usando la técnica más poderosa cuando quizá la técnica más poderosa requiere un tiempo de canalización. No puedes comparar la fuerza de Goku en su máximo poder haciendo su máximo ataque porque... Es que siguiendo las lógicas de Dragon Ball barra todo, ¿no? Cuando estás haciendo más fuerza, tienes más fuerza. El estado base no es lo mismo que el estado más fuerte. En la concentración no es el mismo estado que siempre, ¿entiendes? Joder.
Kingdom.
We can use this map from the manga to estimate the size of Clover Kingdom to be about 500 kilometers in diameter, about half the length of Great Britain. Vaporizing a country of that size would require an energy of over 480 teratons of TNT, over 6 times greater than Deku's punch.
While Asta uses anti-magic, it isn't an automatic counter. It needs to be comparable in strength to the spell it's combating. And Asta's gotten way stronger since.
Asta was also quicker. Sure, scaling to Shigaraki would give Deku roughly light speed reaction time.
But Asta could dodge light in his sleep, and that's his base form, even before transforming with Lipa to get way faster.
And since Deku and Asta's
Están
precognitive
comparando
ability...
que Asta puede esquivar láser por un chiste cómico en el cual esquivó un láser por potra estornudando durmiendo. Y me tengo que tomar en serio esta mierda.
He's more or less matched each other. It was only a matter of time before Asta simply overwhelmed him.
Especially since Deku has struggled in the past against faster opponents. Sure, Deku was smarter, but if he literally didn't have enough time to come up with a plan of attack before getting hammered, his brains were wasted.
Deku's tactical brilliance and harem-scarum tenacity definitely gave his opponent a run for his money, but Asta's raw power, blinding speed, and deadlier weaponry spelled the end for All Might's pupil.
Deku gave it his all, and I wish he had won. Hasta la vista.
The winner is Asta.
Es que imagina, para seguir la lógica de estos gilipollas, ¿vale? Mira, lo acabas de decir muy bien, Batman. Si una vez pelea Nami de One Piece está absurdamente overpowered porque Nami de One Piece es capaz de reventar a hostias a Luffy, el cual Luffy en su estado 4 puede viajar a la velocidad de la luz y literalmente coger un dragón del tamaño de una ciudad y usarlo como una comba. Manejar la realidad misma y transformarlo en goma, pues Nami puede con ese personaje, con Luffy, porque en algunos momentos le parte la madre. Así manejan estas gilipollas estos subnormales. Pues es estúpido, estas tonterías. Pero qué buena pelea han hecho. Una cosa es la teoría, otra cosa es la animación. La animación está espectacular.
Está muy bien hecha. Y hacer animaciones con pixel art es muy difícil. Es una paja.
Vale, el siguiente es... Dragon Ball. ¿Vegeto?
¿Vegeto?
Contra Gogeta.
Versus...
Uf, ya empezamos. Oh, Dios. Todo el mundo sabe que gana Vegeto. Lo dijeron millones de veces. Vegeto es más fuerte que Gogeta. Pero ya veréis cómo hace que gane Gogeta. Porque actualmente, bla 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 bla. Pero Vegeto se ha dicho millones de veces que la fusión Potara es mejor que la fusión Metamorfa. Así que aquí no hay pelea. Vegeto es más fuerte. Pero otro saber si ahora los hijos de puta, por el nerfeo que le pegaron, porque Toriyama es un trozo de mierda, la joden. Pero bueno, gana Bellito, que creo que está mal escrito, y Gogeta, votar que no se la gana. Deu.